We start then with the latest on the killing of 3 US troops at an American base in Jordan. Today, Iran has denied any involvement in the drone attack, saying it was not seeking an expansion of the conflict in the Middle East. But President Biden has blamed militant groups backed by Iran. And yesterday, one such group, called the Islamic Resistance, claimed it launched drone attacks on bases in Syria, including one, it said, near the Jordanian frontier. Well, to tell us a bit more, our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, is with me. And Rob, look, it is a slightly confusing picture even now, a day or so after this happened. So just tell us what we know for the moment.
Well, you mentioned there that organisation, the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, which is an umbrella group for Iran-affiliated militias in Iraq. And they have launched several attacks against the United States over the last few months, since its creation last year. They, as you say, are now claiming responsibility for some attacks in that area, and it does look like they are the ones who launched this attack. And we know Iran is claiming it has absolutely nothing to do with it. Yes, you know, that it's an Iran-affiliated group, but that doesn't mean, Iran says, that Iran issues the instructions whenever they carry out an attack. They take their own decisions. Whether that's the case or not, that's what Iran is saying at the moment. And probably it's what the United States wants to hear at the moment as well, because it doesn't want to be sucked into a conflict with Iran. What seems to have happened is that, there was a drone attack. According to the Americans, the drone came in, as they put it, low and slow. And what happened was that at the very moment that it was coming in, there was a US drone that had been on a mission coming back to the base at exactly the same time. So that they switched off their air defense system just at that moment. And that allowed this Islamic Resistance organization drone to get in and carry out its attack. That seems to be what has happened so far, insofar as we've got any detail whatsoever.
And we know there'll be an American response. Joe Biden has said so explicitly. So I suppose the question now is, what's that response going to be? Where might it be? And when? Yeah,
it's one of those hold your breath moments in the Middle East. You know, clearly something is going to happen, but quite what exactly? Joe Biden under a lot of pressure. You know, this is a red line has been crossed as far as the United States has been concerned, and it's election year, so he cannot appear weak in response. He's got to do something. The Americans say the response will be consequential, whatever that means. But you know, as I was just saying a moment or two ago, you know, the Iranians have made clear that they were not involved. They don't want to get sucked into a war with the United States. The United States doesn't want to get sucked into a war with Iran, but once they're on the same page. But you know, Joe Biden has got to do something, and it's got to be proportionate. It's got to be sufficient to send out a warning that if you do this again, there's going to be a very heavy response. But it has to be sufficiently restrained, not to escalate the situation in the Middle East. It's a very difficult balancing act. You know, we're seeing what's happening already in Yemen, with the Houthis launching rocket attacks against shipping in the Red Sea. The Americans and the British are responding by targeting rocket launching bases inside Yemen, but it isn't stopping the Houthis as yet. So they're continuing to launch more rocket attacks against the Houthis. You know, that is the danger, that they could become a tit-for-tat exchange, which will allow others to take advantage and perhaps suck the United States into this conflict, something they most clearly do not want. That's uppermost, I think, in Joe Biden's response as he calculates how he should respond. But clearly a response will happen.